All right, so joining me now is James Blair. He will be Deputy Chief of Staff. James, great to have you with us. I think you're just over 35 years old, a lot of young professionals in this team. And let's jump right in. I just want to ask you a little bit about what Peter just reported on. You know, in terms of the Treasury Secretary job, is Howard Lutnick, who's the transition chief, pushing to get himself to become Treasury Secretary, and did that backfire on him?
Well, I don't think I'll comment on the president's considerations right now for personnel. I think what's important is that the president is making great picks. He's fortunate to have many people from the private sector and elsewhere that are very interested in serving his administration and helping deliver his agenda throughout the federal agencies, as we're seeing with these nominations. So really, he has many great choices to pick from. And so far, he's made excellent decisions. As we know, he will continue to do so. So I think whichever direction he chooses to go in will be an excellent choice. It is clear that he is reflecting the agenda he ran on in his selections for the cabinet. And that's what's really exciting about this. So I think it'll be a great decision no matter what.
Well, I know there's a lot of excitement around people who have been chosen and a lot of commitment by the team to hit the ground running. And there seems to be positive response to that from the American people. You know, the one other one that could be a hiccup is the Gaetz nomination. Is there any reluctance or any second guessing on that among the team?
The president's made very clear that he intends to see his intended nominees confirmed, and we're hopeful that our partners in the Senate will work closely with us to ensure that happens. Again, he's selecting personnel that align with his vision for the federal government and for the country and the agenda he ran on, and ultimately the American people roundly endorsed by their vote. The biggest popular vote total for any Republican in history, the biggest, the only popular vote win by a Republican presidential candidate in 20 years, and the first time for a non-incumbent going back to 1988. So it's clear where the American people stand on this. They trust President Trump's judgment, and we're certainly hopeful that our friends in the Senate will trust his judgment as well.
Just one last question on this. Is the president willing to push Gaetz through on a recess appointment?
You know, we'll look at all the options, I'm sure. Different people have different opinions, but at the end of the day, what's important is that we are able to get the intended nominees through. It is important to President Trump that they are able to fulfill their mission that he has tasked them with in the federal agencies. So obviously, we'll have to see how that shakes out, and we'll work closely with our partners in the Senate to figure that out, and certainly respectful of the process and their prerogative, certainly. Yeah. But it's important that we get these people in to serve and get going on day one.
All right, we'll be watching. You know, you were characterized as someone who felt very strongly about this moment that happened on The View, which then turned into a campaign ad that was a big success. And you almost instantly had 10 million people getting a text message with this soundbite on it. Let's watch.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes.
Why did you see that moment, James, and think this is pretty hot? This is something we're going to have to really push hard on?
Well, because when Kamala first got in the race, there was a bum rush by the media to erase her history and pretend that she was someone different than she always has been. And of course, there was an attempt to sort of suggest that she is the agent of change, that she wasn't part of the last administration. But as President Biden said himself many times, she was right there making the decisions with him, the decisions that led to higher inflation, open borders, higher crime, wars raging across the globe, and global chaos. And she had tried to distance herself from that. So here we had, for the first time, her finally admitting what we already knew on camera and saying, yes, I actually wholeheartedly endorse everything that this administration has done, which of course is a very unpopular agenda that the American people were very fed up with. So it was important for us to immediately get that word out to the voters to say, you know, don't take our word for it, take her word for it. She will be more of the same. We will have more of the failure and chaos that has been created for the last 4 years if Kamala Harris is elected president. president.
Well, I think that's why she avoided so many interviews for such a long time. And then she did a whole rush of them trying to kind of fix the problem. Let's put up this chart. This is an increase in GOP party identification, which is pretty stunning over the past few years. You see a flip. And the red line goes higher than the blue line, which means that there's more people saying, I am a Republican. How do you hold on to them, James, with policy? Now that you go to the White House as the deputy chief of staff, what's going to be your focus to say, let's give these people what they voted for and let's grow these numbers?
Well, you said it right there. You said policy, and that is the answer. This is the broadest, most diverse coalition that the Republican Party has ever seen, sweeping in not only President Trump and all the battleground states, but bringing a new Senate majority into office, retaining the House majority. And the way to cement these gains politically, which will be my focus both on the legislative side and the political side, will be to pass the agenda that President Trump ran on and that the American people wholeheartedly endorsed and frankly extended to the halls of Congress, clearly because they want to see that agenda passed. So the answer is to get the job done and do what we told the voters that we said we would do.
So what do you think? You're deputy chief of staff under Susie Wiles, who you know well and have worked under well. What can you tell us about what working for her is like? And what will be your day one priority in terms of what you just talked about?
Well, Susie is just a phenomenal team builder and manager. She's excellent at getting a lot of smart people in the room around her from all walks of life with different skill sets and different opinions. And she's really good about listening to all of them and giving everyone their due consideration. And she's very good at helping a team work together and be mission oriented and keep focused on the mission. And ultimately, put their interest always behind the leaders, which is the president in this case.
And day one policy, your most important push?
The first thing we'll do from the legislative side is work on the confirmations. We want to get these confirmations through quickly to support all of the policy executively and legislatively that we need to accomplish.
All right, James Blair, thank you. I hope we'll come back and we continue the conversation as we move into the first 100 days in just several weeks. Thank you, James. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.